I am sure my wife just cheated on me. I am 40, think that last night my wife F43 cheated on me. We have been married 10 years, together for 13. She went out to buy some stuff for the home, which is weird. She hates doing that. And she went with a male friend, I don't know. She stayed out for several hours. It was weird because she spent the day getting ready like it was a date. And when she was gone I grew suspicious and checked around the room, and she had put on her sexy underwear meant just for our bedroom. I do all the childcare, so I put the kids to bed. She showed up after and refused to tell me most of the details of the man she was with, and told me that in order to stay in our marriage she needed some time that was just for her. She only told me his first name, and when I thought back, I had seen that name pop up in her texts for the last several months. I didn't think anything of it at the time because it's the name of a work friend she has and they often need to reach out to one another after hours for big projects. I think that she has been slowly building up the courage to cheat on me, and over the last 2 months our sex life has collapsed to zero and she has grown hostile without any reason given, seemingly out of nowhere. Last week she told me she doesn't want to be married and it has nothing to do with me. An outrageous assertion. Before everyone says I don't do enough as a husband, I do 100 of the childcare, shopping, housework, and I work from home. Though she is the primary breadwinner, I am emotionally available and mature, and I don't have a temper. I stay relatively fit and am attractive enough. I am not controlling. I don't object at all to her having male friends, but this screams affair. I am utterly shattered and I feel like I am dying. I don't even know how to talk to her about it. She has been so angry lately that communicating with her is a nightmare. This is a throwaway account. I am too ashamed to post it to my main. I want to divorce her, but that would break apart my children's home. If I file for divorce, would that make me the asshole? Update: my wife and I talked. She admitted that she had been talking to this guy for a while and had intended to have a sexual encounter, but found him to be so lacking she decided not to. Apparently he had emotions and wanted a relationship. So she talked with him, bought some of his art and left. She is still going to hang out with him, but she isn't interested in him anymore, apparently. I asked if she wanted an open relationship. She said yes. I asked if we would ever have sex again. She said probably not. She said she just doesn't want to be in a relationship with anyone or have sex with anyone anymore. But if she does decide to, she doesn't want to feel caged, especially after her most recent disappointment. But she wants to keep our family together. So I have a permanent hall pass, and I don't ever have to explain where I was or who I was with. She said that is only fair and I agreed, and she wants the same. I can't force her to stay married or monogamous, and I don't want a divorce. So we are roommates now with a legally binding lifetime contract and joint finances. And apparently I am now in an open relationship. A very sad day for me. But maybe not the worst outcome. I assume a lot of people will say she was lying, but it sounded honest, and for the first time in months she wasn't mad at me. She was being direct, and whether she cheated or not wouldn't change anything, because she had intended to and had emotionally cheated, so the trust is gone either way. So I was right, sort of, and now my marriage is over, sort of. And that's just how life goes, I guess. I will need some time to process this. Feel free to comment if you like. It has been a rough 3 days. Update number 2: preamble. So I have decided to treat this post kind of like a journal. You guys have been so helpful and kind mostly, and it has helped me keep a level head during this process. Thank you all for that. My wife came to me crying. She said she doesn't know why she tried to destroy our life together. She says she loves me so much and I am the perfect husband and she has the perfect life and she just couldn't handle it and tried to destroy it. She has agreed to counseling. She apparently doesn't want to lose me. She says doesn't want anyone else and she wants to do what she needs to for me to forgive her. She says we can keep the marriage open if I want. I said okay. She asked if I needed to see other people, and I said I don't know. She said she understood and started crying again. Later she tried to initiate sex, and I stopped her. She had on her sexy undies. Seeing them again made me feel sick. She wore them for another man not even a week ago, trying to destroy our marriage. I feel like all my walls are 100 up right now. My kids noticed her behavior towards me changed this morning when I was getting them ready for school. She was very affectionate and saying nice things to me. My kids were so happy on the way into school. My daughter said I am so glad that mom is being herself again. Isn't that great? I said yeah. You guys, I am so tired. Update 3. My wife went out again on Friday. This time she seemed really pensive, not excited at all. She stayed out a little longer, but came home at a reasonable hour. If I did not know what she had been up to previously, I would not have been suspicious. I assume she broke up with her boyfriend. Saturday morning she canceled all her future dates of all kinds. Everything social was off her calendar, and she replaced them with family activities with me and the kids. She still wouldn't tell me who this man was or discuss him at all. I decided to leave it alone for a while to gather my thoughts. We went on a family trip yesterday. It was fun, and today we are all going to do family games and hang out. My wife's behavior has changed very dramatically, and she is playing the caring wife, saying nice things to me, and sending me positive messages when I am in a different room, touching my arm, all the things. A fairly dramatic shift from the extreme hostility she has been showing me for months, but I have been badly burned, so I couldn't trust it. I decided that I was calm enough to figure out who this guy was, so I went looking, and with the help of a dear friend, we figured it out. See, she had purchased something from him, and that was enough information to figure out who he was, how they met, and how this all began. Now I am going to be vague, as this would maybe be identifying, and I don't need that in my life, especially if I plan on divorcing. But he followed her on a social media service and she didn't follow him back. He never once posted publicly on her social media, and she never liked or commented on any of his stuff. My wife's social media contains pictures of me and our children, almost exclusively of our children, a couple pictures of me, and only a handful of pictures of my wife. For complicated reasons, her social media has a larger following than most personal social media accounts, which made finding him a real pain in the ass. This piece of shit saw my kids and me and my wife and thought I bet those kids would love 2 Christmases. That's the guy my wife cheated on me with. He is older than me, by more than a decade, but very fit, and very tall. Like a fucking me. The worst part, she had not blocked him. So it isn't over, it is just on the back burner. I have decided not to mention it. I don't want her to hide it better. I want to know what's going on as I collect evidence for filing for divorce. I don't need evidence, but for my own peace of mind, and so that I can grieve, I will finish constructing the puzzle that is my wife's infidelity. I will also focus on self-care, and stay away from vices. I could definitely see myself getting drunk and high every night in response to this. So I should not do that. I can't file just yet, for complicated financial reasons, but I will be keeping my appointment with a divorce lawyer to explore my options. Until then, we will see. I have zero trust in my wife. I never thought I would find myself in this position. I don't know what I will do afterwards. I haven't dated in almost 15 years. How does it even work now? Thank you for all the members of the community who have reached out to me, even the mean ones. All of you have taken the time to engage with me when I could not be anything but self-centered in my own grief, and I appreciate you. I will continue updating as I go. Update 4: I decided to take a few days and headed to my parents' house. My wife watched the children while I went over and spoke with my folks. After hearing about the situation, my sister joined us. My parents are hugely supportive of whatever I choose, though my mom thinks I should get a divorce and has several good divorce lawyers already picked out. She really could not hide her excitement that I might be divorcing my wife, and my father thinks we should work it out and offered to pay for any and all mental health services we need for me, the wife and the kids. My parents have been married for a very long time, and I always wanted a long, stable marriage like they had. My mother commented that I always did like complicated relationships with difficult women and that your wife has been torturing you for months. Everyone has been so worried about you, which feels about right. They needed a ton of landscaping done, so my sister and I spent the whole time doing landscaping and talking. The weather was finally nice and I had 2 days of clearing my head and being around people that love me, and getting exercise. By the time I got home I had completely forgot my horrible situation. My wife even greeted me when I got home and seemed very excited to see me. I was happy to believe for a moment that this was my life. Gleeful kids and a happy wife greeting me at the door. It felt really good. I smelled terrible and was covered in dirt. I did not shower while I was over there. They only have 1 bar of Dove soap that they share, which was how it was when I was a kid, and honestly I would just rather stay dirty. So I went to get changed in my room, the guest bedroom, where I now live, instead of in a room with my wife. And let me tell you, it all came flooding back. Just a deep ache and a sadness that the person upstairs was completely different a week and a half ago, and could just as easily flip right back. We are currently in a holding pattern where my wife just looks at me wondering what I will do and tries to be on her best behavior, which she is already looking exhausted by. And I try to stabilize my emotional state well enough to make it through each day without incident. Either way, I have been getting a lot of attention online and in real life from potential suitors. There are a surprising number of women of all age groups who seem to really enjoy what I am about and how I look. I really did not know that there was this much interest. I am going to start scheduling dates in the next few weeks. I don't know if it is a good idea or not. I don't know if there is anything out there worth finding. But I do know that sitting around my house being sad all the time is no kind of life. Oh, and my mom offered to watch my children while I went out on dates. Though she doesn't approve of it, if it brings me closer to getting rid of my wife, she will help me do it. That woman is such a trip. Again, thank you everyone for your support and encouragement. My updates will likely be less frequent going forward, unless something exciting happens. Real life is rarely this complicated and interesting in real time. Thank goodness for that.